Hey everyone, it is Rachel and I am once again working with my Wild Hare petite kit that I purchased. Now, I'm doing what I'm pretty sure every other person who got this piece of paper from Maggie Holmes Carousel did. I'm going to watercolor it. I pre-gessoed it with some clear gesso, and I used my little handy dandy birthday gift that my nephew got me. This is the Art Basics silicone brush from Prima. So instead of bristles and a brush, it's just a piece of silicone in the shape of a brush. So it's great because it's like ridiculously easy to clean, and you do not need a lot of gesso. In fact, the amount of gesso I put on here, I ended up being able to gesso almost another full page of white cardstock. Because I put on what I would normally put on, and it gives you a nice thin layer. So you'll see, even though I gessoed it, it's still somewhat pliable. And I'm super thrilled with the way this turned out. You also have a ton of control, so I was able to get up to like almost the entire edge. And I don't plan on watercoloring the entire thing, but I wasn't quite sure what I was going to watercolor, so I wanted to go ahead and get as much of it as possible. So I've got what I have left of the kit here, and then I also am going to pull in what I have left of Chamel Little by Little, because I got a couple pieces from Chamel Little by Little in my kit, even though I'm going to be using as my background this piece from Maggie Holmes Carousel. My gesso isn't completely dry yet. I'm going to let this dry a little bit more. I've got a little bit left of back to school shopping for my nephew, so I'm going to go out and do that. And when I come back, I'm going to finish this layout. All right, folks, so I'm going to pause it, and then when we come back, you'll be on fast forward. All right, bye everyone. Okay, I'm so sorry. Here's my completed watercolor piece. I did record my watercoloring, but the file got corrupted. I was so annoyed. I'm not a great watercolorer, but I thought this turned out really pretty. I'm going to start by adding some Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine, just to be a little added tiny piece in the background. I used, for my watercoloring, my Prima metallic watercolors, and then the regular watercolors. Now, because I gessoed the piece, I did take my air dryer thingy to the gold color shine, because otherwise I was concerned it wouldn't dry. So now I'm just pulling out pieces from the kit, those 3 flare that are beigey background pieces. One has clouds, one has a butterfly, and one is a chevron piece. I also pulled that doily from my stash, and now I'm going to take this piece of chevron multicolor paper from the Chamel Little by Little collection. That is also from my stash. I am going to back that with my 2 photos alongside that doily. And I'm going to do a small mat, so it's not even going to come out beyond the doily, so I am just going to lift that up when I make my cut. And once I do that, I'm going to do one more layer of matte, and then that is going to be it. I thought, you know what, my layout is busy enough with my watercolor piece that I really don't need to add a lot to it. So once I do this matte with this yellow stripe paper and I figure out which way I want the stripes to go, that's all I do with my pattern paper. So I'm just going to get this trimmed up nice and close. I'm not doing any inking this time around. I'm just letting it be the way it is. Once I do the title and the flare, I'm not really doing much else to the entire layout. I'm going to start with these stickers that came with the Chamel Little by Little line, and first I'm going to glue down my photo block. I do, when I have gesso on the background, do a mix of ATG and liquid glue. This is because with the gesso down, the liquid glue doesn't dry as fast, but the ATG doesn't stick long term. So I put the ATG on to keep it on short term, to give the liquid glue time to adhere. Now I've started my title with the word lovely from this Chamel Little by Little thickers, and then I'm going to use those Pink Fresh Studio gold dipped alphas to complete my title. I'm also going to add from the Little by Little line those black hearts in 3 different places. Now, my original title was going to be Lovely Young Lady, but I actually have run out of Y's on this particular font, so I'm going to go with instead Lovely Graduate. These are photos of my best friend's 8th grade graduation. I've mentioned before I'm working on some photos of her growing up, and I mentioned I scrapbook because I like to play with pretty paper, but my plans for this scrapbook are to go to my nephew. He's an honorary nephew. This is his mother, so it doesn't seem weird for me to do some layouts about her. Plus, she's an incredibly girly girl, so it can be fun to work on some girly girl layouts, since I am not, and obviously my nephew is not. I went ahead and glued down those wood veneer alphas because, as I mentioned before, even though they actually come with a nice sticky back, because of the gesso, I like to be extra careful. I then pulled out one of those label stickers from the Chamel Little by Little sticker pack, and I just did a little bit of journaling saying exactly what her mother said in the original scrapbook, which is, this is Rachel's housemate, obviously I used her real name, on her 8th grade graduation, posing with her cat. I believe the cat's name was Squeakers. I don't remember off the top of my head. I am going to use these 2 pieces of washi, the owls, because it's a graduation layout, and then the flowers, just as some added interest to put some more stickers down. I am going to go back and add some glue to all of the things I am adding to this, otherwise they're just not going to stick down, including the washi tape. So I add that congratulations label because it is a graduation layout, and then I also added 2 word stickers from the Dear Lizzie phrase stickers that came in my Wild Hare kit, and those say amazing things will happen and remember this right here. Once I do that, I did want to mention, I used ATG glue on my 3 flare because they are flat back. I am, however, going to go back afterwards and realize I need to add some liquid glue as well. But I am all done, folks. Thanks so much for joining me here. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Here it is where you can see the shiny parts better. Alright, bye!